Hi, good evening. Welcome back. We're going to start with a drill from Madhaban. Just want to check before that the translation is fine. Things are working. Let's wait a few minutes for the drill from Bapdada. Thank you. Yesterday, this image of a prince that goes to Scotland and gets confused, and those that try to help him, if they are telling him, "You're a prince," he might say, "Thank you very much, but could you spare a coin?" And if they at all give the coin or feel sorry for the beggar, then it's really a confusion, and the king is the one that can help in this case, who's absolutely got the clarity. So this message about being bodiless, being master, who gives this message that we can be master of the mind? This is your natural state, and you have everything. If someone is feeding the story around something that's happened in the drama, then it's like as if giving an inch to the beggar, because the way the father of the soul of the king is seeing is that you're so lucky. So I was reflecting on the way I was told as a child, you have to survive. When you wake up in the morning or spending money, things cost money, and you have to, as if feeding that mindset of you have to be someone, you have to prove something, you have to prove your right to exist, almost in a not said in those words. So there's such a profound shift to see this. You exist independently, never a beggar. This is a gift. The world is positive, and the only question is, what is our price? And the example, if someone gives a coin, but if someone gives 200,000, 20,000, are you still, is the soul still clear? This is a whole thing, by comparison, not worth a penny, because your riches are not of this world. It's a very fascinating, extraordinary subject, and welcome to everyone. It would be really nice to hear your latest thoughts and any questions. Meanwhile, welcoming in Prashant.
Hello and welcome back. Yeah, thank you for the quick summary. In essence, what we discussed yesterday will come to the whiteboard. We saw that we have option of a higher perspective, higher consciousness, and we have the option of the lower consciousness. Beggar is just a word for that, but there is a lower consciousness. Iron Age is Iron Age because we are in that lower consciousness. And it is stubborn. We may understand everything about knowledge and many years go past, but to know that that lower consciousness is very stubborn. It wants to survive. We use the image of I. It is that like an ego. Our whole notion of the self is based on that. And it is the ego that makes even spiritual effort also. It is all projected on the role there. That role, Harry is trying to become spiritual, trying to become egoless. But ego is the driving force here. And what has happened, it is the story of the prince. All along, the prince is there, and prince is not really conscious. If he was conscious, or it is even intermittently, if he is conscious, the game will change. Inner game will change completely. Just like if someone is awake, then he experiences waking reality. His passions, emotions, intoxication is based on the waking reality. If he's dreaming, his passions, emotions, intoxication is based on the dream. So here, something similar happens. When we are in the lower consciousness, our passions, emotions, intoxication is based on here, based on the story. That is the way for us to know whether I am in the beggar level or prince level at any moment. Like knowing the prince is nice, but that doesn't mean it had changed. And we have to check this, repeatedly. And he may be happy also. By beggar, as we said yesterday, beggar can be also happy because he's getting lots of coins. So also here, we can be happy. Doesn't mean stage is good. Some people sometimes say stage is so good. The stage is good. We can use that expression if your passions, emotions, intoxications are based on the alokik, not based on the story. In the Murli today, Baba used few words. Baba used the word holiest. Baba is not talking to ego, you are holiest. And Baba is not using these words in a sort of superficially. Every word Baba uses has meaning and relevance, but it applies to the invisible witness who is conscious. If he is conscious, this moment, to try and experiment with that. He understands his complete separation from the story world. Invisible witness. Then that invisible witness is free from Ravan. Ravan is unholy. Invisible witness is the invisible prince. He is the holiest. He is the highest because he is from the family of highest father. He is the luckiest. Yesterday we mentioned what luck he has got. This whole sky. The beggar is happy, his intoxication, because he got few coins. So in this world, some people may be happy because they got some position and some praise, something like this. They may have some intoxication, some good bargain he got. There's intoxication. And the prince, he knows his world is eternal and it is the universe is positive. Everyone, his family, they are divine and harmless. It is a region of love and happiness, perfection and celebration. He is alive to that. And it is right in front of everyone. Question is the prince awake or is he dreaming? When he's dreaming, ego is the master of the dream world. If he's conscious, then his world is alokik, celebration. luckiest, I said richest. Richest, one reason Baba uses the word every step there are millions, but every second he's experiencing this dimension. Just he's experiencing the alokik wonder. It clocks in. It influences the physical level also through the cycle. That's why it is literally multi-millions at every step. More you are experiencing. So this is aspect of yoga that Baba encourages us, accurately done, and someone accurately experiencing this alokik, universe, and feeling the fullness, alokik fullness. It has repercussions through the cycle. You become richest, you are sweetest, you are harmless. Everyone at this level is harmless. They need nothing from anyone. This concept of harm doesn't exist for them. They are immensely lovely, innocent. They need nothing from anyone. They know everyone belongs to them and they are childlike. Beyond harm, harmless. This is the reality. And so when that is the case, just like even puppy, you feel they're sweet because they're harmless, then you feel they're sweet. Here, everyone is sweeter than your sweetest puppy that you have seen. Such is the word, and Baba says sweetest. What other title Baba gave to you today? He says highest, holiest, richest, sweetest. What other in the Murli? You get a prize if you remember and if you answer. In today's Murli.
Luckiest.
Luckiest we said.
Lovely, lucky, lovely.
In the Murli, through the Murli. In the beginning, Baba said these titles.
Sweetest, self-sovereign, happiest, highest.
Yeah, and another word I was thinking of is you are powerful. Baba used the expression in the Murli. In the beginning, these are the luckiest and highest, holiest. Anyone who is conscious is powerful. If he's not conscious, he may have all the powers and he may have strengths, skills, but if he's asleep, then anyone can defeat him. So here you are powerful, the power we need to overcome this lower consciousness. This lower consciousness, we use the word beggar, but it is the big enemy of the prince. We saw yesterday it blocks the prince. It means prince becomes unconscious. It is a minute-to-minute game. If the lower consciousness is given the chance, it makes the prince unconscious, and prince remain unconscious until something is done about this. So this is lower consciousness is demonic. Baba uses these strong words. It is like a Ravan. Ravan is demonic. In the world, there is some. If you see some demonic behavior, it is nothing else. It is just this ego acting. Ego has taken such offense that he's driven to do actions of that kind. So it is in that direction. But one manifestation of Ravan is begging, beggar. Let us create some opportunity to experience And I like to underline one word. This is important word for us. If there is one thing that favors the beggar, it is darkness, ignorance, confusion. That absolutely favors the ego. Ego becomes the master of your mind, life. That is why the first step for us is use the best intellect. That is clever. Anytime you are creating time for meditation, just check, are you using the best sight, best intellect, best light? Just check this. It will take 1 second. And in the best light and best clarity, now everything stands out. If this is a story world, you are seeing it as a story world. If it is a foreign world, you are seeing it as a foreign world. This is exactly what happens. And right now, we are using paras, and we are seeing this whole physical world. We have been spending time there all day. And whatever is right in front of us, this is a foreign world. Which means we have no right on it in any form. We can't even expect someone in this world who was nice to you yesterday, that he continues to be nice. No, the foreign world, we have to be prepared for anything, including there can be exit this moment. We don't have right on the body or anything there. But it's fine. We are just seeing the truth. It's a foreign world. It's a fictional world. And it's a temporary world. Now, who says this? The invisible witness. It is not Prashant saying this. Prashant himself is part of this foreign world. Whole thing, body, role, everything, the name, it all belongs to the foreign world. That's why that invisible witness has to become conscious to see it this way. Invisible witness, he knows of his world beyond. He's awake, and so it is so obvious to him. He knows that he's lucky, very lucky. To begin with, his world is a real world. It is not a story world. It is not a foreign world. It is his world. He has a right here. He is in truth. Eternally, he has a right here. The world itself is eternal. He is immortal. He is very lucky. Luckiest, that is the right word. He also knows everyone is lucky. They all are from this world. They all are also simple. They don't need all this clutter that is there in the drama, in the story. That's why they are like tiny points. But they are conscious and they have personalities. And they are our brothers, invisible brothers. But one nice thing about this dimension, no one needs anything, no one can be harmed ever. Such is the world. Never a beggar, never a victim. Such is the blessing of this world. They all are naturally royals. They are divine royals. When we use the word positive universe, there is a reason why we say that. They naturally all are royals. Never a beggar, not the slightest thing. They don't need anything from anywhere. And they can never be harmed by anything. Never a victim. This is why they can afford to be fully innocent. There is no need of this craftiness, cunningness. They don't need. It also means they, if there are no desires, there are no disappointments. That expression Baba says, deities, they are ignorant of the word desire. Deities are like that because souls are like that. They need nothing. And if there are no desires, there are no disappointments. There are no reason for sorrow of any kind. Many, many things may happen everywhere. No sorrow. They are in wisdom, full wisdom. Opposed to ego. Ego is in full darkness. There's this family, souls are conscious. So because of fiction, they are not going to take a sorrow of any kind. There is no reason for sorrow. Anywhere, anytime. What remains is silent joy and love. And joy comes with its friends. This is what they all experience. Life of affection and fullness and life of love and celebration. Silent celebration. This is the world of the father and the family. It's a world of God, world with God. God is one who is always paras, is like others, but he is always in this full clarity. Helps others come in that full clarity. And because of this in innate goodness of every soul, when they are in this full light, they are clean and good, noble, happy, loving forever. This is their life. In this light, in full light, everyone is like this. Father and the family, they are like the father. Invisible witness, just staying awake. This is his effort. And this is what he experiences. Prince, invisible prince. But why prince? There are these infinite attainments, all. Every level, family, home, father. He doesn't need anything from anywhere. So he knows no one can deprive him of anything. There can't be any injustice anywhere. As long as he stays in this full light, he knows this. He cannot be denied of anything. Everything else is extra. He may get involved into some game. It's a game. He may lose a game, but his world remains intact. Every other thing is extra. He's never a failure, never loses anything. His passions, emotions, intoxication is based on this alokik truth, like the Father. And now he sees the physical world, and he knows that physical world is a fictional world. Story. He sees the story, and as a story, it is great. In any story, there are dragons and there are heroes and villains, and that is what makes the story. It has beginning and end. Story has episodes. He knows this, but because he sees in full light, he sees it as a story and understands it's a perfect story. And if that story is made into a performance, it is even better gift. If it is made into a big theater with lots of props, it is all there for entertainment. That story is never there for sorrow. Not for the prince. Not even the slightest sorrow can come to him. Even if he's acting in the story, it is fun. That's why he's acting. It is extra. It doesn't change anything of his world. His world is intact. This is where the power is. Because in this story, there is more and more glitter and more gold and songs. There is constant machinery to draw him in. Attractions in that story. And if he let himself be drawn into it, proportionately he is disconnected from his world. That emotional disconnect starts from here. He gets emotionally disconnected from his world if he is deceived into the story world. So that is the game. But right now we are understanding this knowledge and understanding. All this makes the soul powerful and prepared. So he knows the whole thing, he knows the game, but remains free. Can put a full stop to the details and details of the story. As we continue on the journey, we remember this extraordinary truth of the prince. Stay in that passion, emotions, and intoxication of the waking reality. The more we immerse that makes the soul powerful to deal with this world of of fiction and not be deceived. Thank you. One line we like to draw is this line of ignorance, dotted green line. So if we cross that line, then we are deceived in that pot, which means we are now working with the beggar. Beggar consciousness is in action once we cross that line. We see the beggar game. I was going to read before we read, I was going to read a short passage from the Murli, what Baba spoke on this subject. But any comments from you? Any thoughts?
We've got the different angle on the board. Yes, really stands out when we think about the princes, the sovereignty in the drama world, or those who have a lot of wealth, because if that doesn't give the feeling expected, it can be like existential emptiness, which we see there can be a lot of problems for those who have achieved the riches in the drama can be. So that like value discrepancy, you think this is going to be the best life, but your feelings inside are not creating that expected results. So they're very complicated, like guilt and questioning the meaning. What's the point? And that beggar mindset is there. So there is superficiality in relationships because you can't really trust if you have something like the drama wealth. It can lead that, not always, but to have this option that every soul has this option to be awake to the eternal passions, emotions, feelings. It's a very fascinating turnaround. So I was just thinking on that. There was a question, shall I ask it now?
Yeah.
From yesterday. So it may be partially answered, but question, how can someone just think of the prince because it's taken half the cycle, 63 births, behaving like a beggar, and he's really become like that. So to go back, it's not about just saying, his words, vibrations, actions, everything has to change to really feel like a prince again. And then a lot of yoga and healing is necessary. It's more of a comment, but do you have anything to add?
Yeah. Good comment.
Maybe another comment just coming in. Knowing this, practicing this higher awareness does not mean that actions are pure.
Sure. But the first one that is mentioned, one thing we need to be aware of is our ego-based effort. That is what we need to be aware of. And lots of time, because that is the way we start, and our spiritual effort starts from the ego. But at least we need to know this. It is like if we use the name Harry, so it is Harry is making effort and Harry is trying to become spiritual. Harry is going to Madhavan. Harry is getting praised and Harry is having good yoga. Harry. and it is all going in the stomach of ego, because ego is absolutely guarding that. And invisible witness, that has not even become conscious even. So this becomes ego-based effort, and that doesn't lead to that jump that is required. Prince, it doesn't help the prince. Ego has got this huge skill of adapting. We often say Darwin's theory is not survival of the fittest, but the survival of those who can adapt. So change of climate, change of situations, those who can adapt to that, they survive. And ego is master in this. So you become, Brahmin, you become knowledge, and ego adapts, and ego survives. That is fine. That's great of ego, but we have the option. Start from the invisible soul, clean. And one way to do this is avoid the letter I. And because I is so polluted because of the ego using it all this time. That ego, I, this kind of language, I must have, that opens the door for the ego. At least for some, this can be a help. Start from the invisible soul. That's why we use the language, different words, invisible witness or invisible traveler, different words. But it is clean start. He is conscious and he understands he is not part of the story. One thing that is distinct about the invisible witness, he knows the story is separate from him. He finds it absurd to mix his life with the story. Just as you will find it absurd to mix your life with Tarzan. Tarzan, okay, Tarzan is separate, you are different. In the same way here, this invisible witness finds it absurd to claim anything within that story. Prashant is within that story, that is separate, but not invisible witness. This is necessary, that complete independence is necessary. And as you do this, the many other experiences will follow. But you are on the rails, because it is then soul consciousness, not mixed with ego. That's why experiences become easy. If it is mixed, then experiences are blocked. Something to experiment with. And what was the second question? That was
Comment, knowing this, practicing this higher awareness does not mean that actions are pure.
no, during those seconds, everything is pure. As we said, it is a game minute to minute. So if the invisible witness is conscious during that time, it is holy. You are the holiest. And your vision, your attitude, everything, whatever you touch, it will have Baba there. Baba's intervention will be there. It is clean, it is Ravan free. But yes, as we said, ego is strong and ego will constantly try to take back. And so that is the journey. Until we become karmatit, we have to play that game. Is it okay to go to this?
Yeah, thank you.
Murli will read. It's a short passage. It's spoken in 1983, 27th of December. What did Baba see on his world tour? All our souls, all are children of the best hour, but they are all begging in the form of beggars. Some are royal beggars, some are ordinary beggars. From everyone's mind, the only sound you can hear is give me. Give me this, give me that. Some are beggars for wealth, some beggars for cooperation, some beggars for relationship, some are beggars for happiness, beggars for temporary comfort, some are beggars for sleep, some are beggars for mukti, some are beggars for a vision, for darshan, some are beggars for death, some are beggars for life, and there are some begging for followers. In this way, all are begging. They are also begging from the Father, begging from Mahatmas, from deities, from relations. But the one sound, give me this, give me that. Having seen the world of beggars, Baptada reached the gathering of those who are self-sovereigns, those who are masters, cannot beg. They cannot use the language, give me this, even in their thoughts. The words of a beggar are, give me this. Words of the soul who is a master, what are his words? I have right. All of this is my right. You have become such souls who are masters, have you not? Without your asking, the Father has automatically given your right to all imperishable treasures. All of you had just one expression in your thoughts, my Baba. In just few words, the Father said, the world of all treasures is yours. Just one expression became an instrument to give you all rights, mine and yours. These two words trap you in a cycle. And in this case, chakra means, it is not a big cycle, but limited. It trap you in a spin. Whereas those same two words free you from all the perishable, sorrowful spins and makes you the master for all time and of all attainments. You became free from all the different spin and took just one Swadarshan chakra, spinning the cycle. They show one finger, it's Swadarshan chakra. One finger means just one thought. I belong to the Father, and the Father belongs to me. When you let go of one and become caught up in many, you become trapped in many types of spin. The Murli of 27th of December 83. Yeah, let us hear some thoughts from you. Baba goes on, builds on this subject of the master. Baba uses the word master and self-sovereign and the beggar. And all along the implication Baba is using you got the treasures already. Not the treasures at a physical level, that is, it is limited, that that comes in the story. That is what deceives you. That stone intellect, you can't see the story as story, and then you are deceived. But first you are seeing this, your sky, and you are realizing, okay, you are seeing even yourself. We mentioned, in a computer game, they use the word emotional disconnect. So people who play the computer game, they are drawn into the game so much that they are disconnected from their family, and they are disconnected from their job, and disconnected from even themselves. They ignore their body, but this is what has happened to us. We are drawn into this computer game to such a level that we are disconnected from our world, including ourselves. This is why this method, where the true self, invisible witness, is first waking up, he's reconnecting to himself and his world, and realizes that all of this was his all along, a prince all along. But this is not at a physical level, it is alokik. That's why we need Paras. Paras as within Paras is subtle intellect. Within Paras is the broad intellect. And then all of that becomes vivid and obvious. And now, when you are coming to the story, every moment of the story is also a gift. It is also like and for the prince, it is also another reason for happiness. Every moment, it is a huge performance, but he doesn't need to claim it. He doesn't go there with the begging bowl. He's not approaching it as a beggar, but he's seeing it. Wow, great, and happy to see it. Happy to it is going. Perspective of the prince. In the story yesterday, we used this image. The prince has gone to Scotland, and in Scotland there is, lots going on, and he's oh, he is disconnected from his life. He forgets he's a prince. Then he thinks he's the beggar and begging. And we said different people go to try and help him discover the prince, who is in a powerful position to awaken him. Many go to tell him you're a prince, but he says, thank you, but give me coins. So no one can easily awaken him. Who is in a position to awaken the prince, who is seeing himself as a beggar And we saw that even if you tell him 10 times, he is also sitting in a room and repeating, I'm Prince, I'm Prince. But even that is not working. As soon as the hour is finished, it's busy. You make coins. So, who is in a position to awaken one who is in such a state? Is there any hope?
His companion, only God.
Here we are talking about the Lockic example, and a prince from some country, gone to Scotland. So he's in this. He's thinking he's a beggar. Who is in a position to awaken him?
Someone who knows more than Scotland. One who's woken up but went to the same process of emotional disconnect and can now see the bigger picture. His Lockic father or family.
Why? Father or family? Why?
They know who he is more clearly. The king knows him more intimately, the connection, the relationship.
Yes, I would say the king or the queen is in a powerful position to awaken him. So others go to him and they tell him, "You are the prince." He says, "Okay, thank you for your, positive thought, but give me a coin." And they give him a coin. So the body language is that you are a beggar. So he says, "You come inside, I will show you my junk collection." So they go to look at his junk collection, and they go, and the next day he goes and tells, "You are the prince." He says, "Thank you, give me a coin." You give the coin. So it is confusing. Your your words are telling him he's a prince, but your body language is telling that he's a beggar. You are giving the coin. Queen goes, and queen tells him, "Drop all this, come home." He says, "Yeah, I'm coming, but give me a coin." She says, "No, you're not going to get any coin. Drop all this here and come." He says, "Okay, I'm coming, but I'll take these coins with me." And she says, "No, drop this coin. Don't touch these coins. Come out of this place now." So he says, "Okay, I'm coming, but come and see my collection of some junk." She says, "No, I don't want to see your collection. You come out of it." What the difference is that she sees the prince, full stop. She doesn't see the beggar. She's not confused herself. The other person is confused, but she's not confused. It is all the time tug of war that is going on. The beggar, as we said, beggar wants to survive. Beggar is stubborn. It is not that beggar wants to drop being beggar. Beggar, the demon underneath that beggar. So it is stubbornly staying there. So now you are going there. The queen goes there, and she has no compromise with the beggar. Says, "You prince, you come out of this." Now compare this with the service you are doing. You may be going to can be someone's place. You're telling them your souls. And he says, "I'll show you my palace first. and you are going to see the palace, the junk collection. You are taking photographs also. You're given him the lesson one, and you're seeing all the junk collection. You are quite impressed with his position and his place, and oh, that's what he wants. A little bit praise here, and this is all coins for him. You're given him, and then you come back. He says, okay, come tomorrow for lesson two. I'll show you other junk. I'll show you more junk. So Beggar is quite happy with his life, and you are quite happy that you are doing service, but you are all along feeding the beggar. Words are there. Your lesson one, lesson two, and that is going on. Next day you are telling him you are son of the King of Kings. Yes, lesson two. Thank you very much. Now let us do our business. Let us collect some coins. So he's doing the job of collecting coins, and he knows that you are quite impressed with his junk, that he's a successful beggar. And so this service is a service of the prince, service of the one who is Baba's service, Baba, and that he sees the soul, he sees the prince, full stop, and no compromise on the beggar. The difference between all the charity organizations in the world, and they're all in a small place like Cambridge, there are more than 1,000 different organizations. They are called community organizations, but largely charity. They are working for animals, working for different things, handicapped. And what's the difference between all the charity organizations and Baba's task?
Well, they don't have knowledge. So comment temporary relief, limited. Whilst doing the charity, they still remain at the level of begging. They speak with knowledge, Baba's work, speaking to the prince, and that's it. They don't have knowledge of the soul. Here we work at the soul level. That is all drama based, and it's not sincere.
One way to see it is that when you are everyone else, they don't even know the prince. They only know the beggars. We said when the queen goes, she sees the prince. Some of his friends say, "You are the prince." But there are many who don't even know that he is a prince. So at present time, no one at this level, no one knows that there are princes here. They all are trying to help the beggars. And these charity organizations, governments, religions, everyone is trying to make the lives of beggars better. So they think how they can find some more coins for them, how they can, someone, making their lives better. World of beggars, I'm talking here larger population. Some are begging for happiness, some are begging for cooperation, some are begging for followers. So all the government parties, they are promising you. They are promising they will find what you want. And then they will get votes. They are also begging. The political leaders, they are also begging. Now here, Baba is the one who knows that there is a prince here. And Baba's army is waking up to realize there are princes here everywhere. They are seeing a different game altogether. The prince is unconscious. And all that is required is if he wakes up, everything changes. We don't need to solve the beggar problem. Prince is very lucky. He has got this unlimited treasure. This is Baba's secret. Baba's task is this, to help the prince wake up and discover that eternal rise. He wins the sky, he also wins the earth. And so the game is different. In this game, to work with the beggar, to make the beggar strong, as we saw before, it blocks the prince. So we are not going to create problems, but we know this game. We are not some of the charity, some of the authors in the management kind of world, inspirational speakers, positive speakers. They say praise people. It helps them. And be lavish in praise. We don't say that here. You praise, it can go in the stomach of the beggar straight away. It will go in the stomach of the ego. We want to give feedback, but we want to help the prince wake up. Silently, you are acknowledging the prince, seeing the prince, reminding the prince, helping the prince to become conscious, reviving him. That is Baba's task. When Baba comes, Baba says, I see the souls. I speak to the souls. I'm not seeing the body, but everything else has to die. And don't give excuses in this dying. Today, Baba said, everything else has to die. That Baba is seeing the soul, and soul has to revive. So that is our service also. See the souls and help the souls revive. Then there is future, that beggar becoming bigger and more stubborn beggar, that is not going to create a golden age. If the prince wakes up, then you get a golden age. Excellent. Maybe we'll hear some thoughts from Sarah, and then we take a break.
This example of contrasting charity, being exposed to these ideas in Southeast Asia, in a place where there were countless charities and NGOs. It's clear, even without knowledge, something not right, like identity of giving and creating those that take. And unless now understanding that the root, the upliftment of the alokik self-respect and everything comes from there, but we can be doing this at a subtle level, like thinking someone needs something. That vision and attitude is very disempowering, when really they need acknowledgement. The soul just needs to be seen. So it feels like it needs brushing up constantly. This is not my world, because, like you said, ego adapts, so the begging adapts, and the subtle begging of entitlement, some privileges, or feedback for good actions, even with these ideas. It's so good to break it down and come to the zero. If such a relief. There was a question actually on this, like, how come it's so clear and simple to understand? Why do we remain trapped in the game and disconnected when we have this option to experience the richness?
As we mentioned in our discussion earlier, and just to understand this ego-based effort, how to bypass it, at least we were then on the right rails. We have to overcome this first hurdle of ego, mm, ego-based effort, so, and then many other things become easy. Some, we you all need to create time, but refinement, accuracy of time, accuracy of method, that will bring big results. It is not a question of just understanding. We need to. The one is knowledge. The next step is yoga. That second step.
It's just a congruency, isn't it? The congruency will come with yoga. So would you like to pose a question for discussion in rooms?
Then the big question is that what was discussed just now, how to make the prince remain conscious in ourselves, how to help others wake up, how to help the divine royal in others wake up.
Thank you. I just put that in the chat. And, so we'll create sort of usual time, just over 10 minutes, and we'll see you back. Enjoy the discussions. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome back. Let's create a minute of the essence of the experience. Thank you. So nice, these moments. It'd be so nice to hear what came up, because they can be quite creative, these discussions. And what were your methods for keeping the divine royal being conscious? Can type, because it will be useful for everyone. Sometimes reminders, like some notes from what activated the experience of the prince. Like, it's personal, isn't it, for each one of us? So those points. But yeah, while I'm sharing, it would be great to hear from you. This is filling in. I realized that sometimes going through the alphabet with the qualities of that alokik world, it's like just keeping something in the mind busy, but starting, you can start anywhere, or you can use the word Sita and look at the word S-I-T-A and just think of the words. But if it's alphabet, it's like abundance, altruistic, appreciation, and feeling the words. It just keeps something busy in the mind, and having the company of others who are questioning, yeah, it's so precious. Sharing in small groups definitely helps. Meeting, thinking with like-minded people. It's like family. Yeah, thank you. So do continue to share. I'm going to welcome in Prashant meanwhile. Thank you.
Hello, and thank you. Let us create another few minutes of attention. And biggest thing that can happen in this, for us, go for the highest consciousness. And the highest is where there is complete independence, complete detachment from the story world. So when we use the word invisible witness, that is good. Invisible witness comes here as an invisible incarnate. He needs nothing from you. He knows down below is a story world. It is empty. Other day Baba said, as if it is not there. So story doesn't really exist. It's just a huge hype created, but it is empty. So the invisible witness, invisible incarnate, they are not deceived by this. That's why they are fully independent. This is the game. In 1 second, we can come to that highest perspective. And we are emphasizing this invisible incarnate is free from everything, including the body, whole thing. What we thought is I, that was a false notion of I. Invisible witness is new, clean start. And then everything else follows. He feels the company of the supreme friend and the family. The rest all follows. The emphasis was in freeing himself from the story, getting the first step right, foundation right. Thank you. And the question that many ask, and it is an important question, and we asked also during those room meetings, how to get this prince, how to get him conscious. And we have been talking about paying attention to him. We hear it in the Murli every day. Be soul conscious, be soul conscious. And these are practices that we spoke. But one more practice that we can think of, and Baba uses the term, Baba likes this word, be a donor, Dani, and sometimes Baba uses the word Mahadani. great donor, and Akhand Dani, Akhand Mahadani, an uninterrupted giver. How does this giving has connection with the beggar and the prince? Where, in what way is it connected to the revival of the prince? Let us take an example. Say you are in your house, weekend, today is this weekend, and suddenly your friends arrive to your house. You got enough food, in your on your table. That food is for in the family. There are a few people, and there is enough food for these people. Maybe food for another 4 people. There is enough food there. And now suddenly friends arrive, and a time for meal, and friends, 30 of them, they all are hungry, and they all miss you so much. So they have come, to visit you. So what will be your next thought? You have to feed them. You can share what you got, but it is what you got. It's not enough for 30 people. What will be your next thought? And you are seeing that there are 30 people there, and that you can't get. There is no pizza shops. They are all closed for Sunday. So you have to feed them at home. If any of you have experience being housewife, what will be your next thought?
Might be some house husbands as well here. Making something quickly. Maybe there must be some pasta somewhere. Making them help as well, making it into like a fun thing.
Good. But something of this kind, situation like this, forces you to think what else is in the house. Sometimes your things are in the fridge, you don't have to even go there, but there is enough on the table. You have to first use what is on the table, and so, but situation like this forces you to go to the kitchen store. And when you go to the kitchen store, you find things that you have forgotten about. And now you can use that for others, you can use them for yourselves. You are connected to the store. Otherwise, you don't go there if there is enough on the table. Something similar happens in our case. When we are leading our ordinary life, just me, this kind of a life, then you are leading that superficial, something, there's enough on the table, bit like that. Something is coming, someone is raising some things, you got some, a little promotion somewhere, and little extra, a bigger hat, and that is keeping your happiness going and enthusiasm going. Just me, you know. But when you are taking on a situation where you have to reach 100 people, you have to reach in a bigger gathering, it forces you to dig deeper. And in the process, you discover the treasures that you got. The big message, spiritual message, the principle, spiritual principle, is that we all have treasures within us. Meaning of Om Shanti is just this, that you have within you not just Shanti, you have within you happiness, and you have within you love and within you knowledge, you have wisdom within you, and you have within you contentment. You don't need, you are full, you big treasures, ultimate treasures. They are within you already. With you are immortal, so there there is a lot there inside you, with along with Shanti. But there is a but. It is a treasure. If I am not even seeing it, if I'm not going to the kitchen store, I don't even notice that it is there. I don't experience it myself. When I am forced to dig deeper, then I discover it. So there is a treasure in your house, but if you are leading a superficial life, you don't see it. You have to dig. Then you notice that it is there, the big treasure there. In one way, we connect to this treasure within us is by giving, by being Mahadani. And let me write this other word, Akhand Mahadani. Akhand, uninterrupted, giver, in a big way, giver. In positive psychology, they say the one statement is made. Most people, they easy, comfortable life. They are leading a easy, comfortable life. They do not experience the fulfillment. Fulfilled feelings are not there. They got enough pension coming, enough money coming. Everyone is doing well. They got holidays, parties. They are not experiencing the fulfilled feeling. But those who take on, projects and challenges and learning and striving, struggles, they feel more fulfilled. That's what they notice. Because these people, they are in the process digging deeper. And in the process, they got project, they want to solve some problems of the world, of the community, and in that process, they end up connecting to their own treasure. That they go to the kitchen store, as if it forces them to go to the kitchen store and see what is there. Now we have got this family where there are 8 billion of them, and they all are waiting. This is what we hear in the Murlis also. Baba was saying today's Murli also. They all are, not getting what they are looking for. They know temporary things, but they don't have the real real attainments. And who will give them these attainments? If we take that on, that this is our duty, how can we do this? And to reach all these people, even this internet will not reach to everyone. And you discover that it has to be through your experiencing it. If you take that as a Akhand Mahadani, that is necessary, worth the experiment. And it's a nice area, nice aspect for us. And that may force us to discover the treasure that you have. They say there are some countries on this planet who don't have natural resources, but they comparatively performed better on this planet. And one such country is United Kingdom. They don't have natural resources, but on this world stage, they performed well. And one reason is they realize that they have to dig deeper. They have to work harder. And when you dig deeper, you discover treasure, bigger treasure. And then once you got this bigger treasure, they are motivated to do things. They got treasure. They discovered the human resource. Countries who got easy life, their students, their children, they don't learn even. Because why should they learn? Because they got so many treasures in an easy life. They are thinking of parties, and the next generation is becoming weak generation. So these are physical examples, but the spiritual example for us is to take on challenges in a life of learning, striving, struggles, then taking on bigger projects, taking on challenges. All of that has benefit for the self because you discover the treasure. But the biggest thing for us is, as we are doing it repeatedly, coming back to the prince, seeing the prince. There is no shortcut to this. And this, when you create an environment of knowledge, that favors the prince. When there is an environment of ignorance, when there is environment of ignorance, that favors the beggar. And when we say ignorance, minute to minute, to play with it, or many times in a day, play with it. Am I seeing this world as a foreign world? Or am I seeing this world as my world? A simple thing. If I'm seeing this world as my world, I'm already into the ignorance. Some of these reminders need to be kept in the room, our room. And as we said, striving, struggles, we need to have these reminders as a student. And some sketches, if they help you, keep them around. And you will never be a loser. Because this stubborn ego has to be dealt with some kind of determination, and then you win. Okay, let us hear some thoughts from you.
Thank you. So helpful, this structure. And I think that keeping the soul awake is perhaps one of the biggest challenges in a way. And then the positioning, but then everything that comes to challenge is like a privilege in a way to really consolidate. So with that mindset, it could be, I was thinking it's almost like spiritual diabetes when we're relying on something outside and we get dependent and we can't produce as if our own peace, love, happiness. Now there are a couple of questions. What was just said, what about the benefits that countries like the UK enjoy because of forcefully taking resources from other countries and leaving them struggling? I know it's an example, but just with this example.
Yeah. These are just examples, but it is like one generation does the striving and they get the results. Another generation, I'm talking here more generally, any at an individual level or at a generation level, those who are leading a superficial life, they are losers.
Hope that helps. Earlier there was a question, is begging also equivalent to violence for the prince? This kind
As was said, and a beggar blocks the prince. So if we are supporting beggar, it is like blocking the prince. Nice to know these factors. Then we know what we are doing for others and what we are doing to ourselves. We might like to be nice to others, but if we are feeding the beggar in others, then know that you are not a friend of the prince.
feel like it's why it's said every day in the Murli, remember me alone. It's like telling the prince, remember the king alone. Because really, with best intentions, if one is not stable, then this is very subtle validation based on actions, preferences according to character in the drama, in just the slightest. It is feeding that side in a way. So we do our best, but I think that vision attitude on the king and the king on the soul, seeing how he is seeing others, how he is seeing self, perhaps whatever helps that relationship will create more continuity, that energy that builds inside of self-respect based on beyond the drama, the actor, rather than the role, because staying at the drama level and thinking of others and them thinking of us is going to be mixed, isn't it? Yeah. Question or any sign as to how to know we are feeding the beggar in others?
Most of the time we do, ask ourselves, am I seeing the prince in others? If I'm not even seeing the prince, then how will I be helping the prince? So this is why this to introduce this, even for a few minutes, to see the huge contrast. Seeing the prince means you are seeing the invisible soul, distinct, not just superficially use the word soul to Freddy. You are just seeing Freddy and just using the word soul in a superficial way. That soul is nice, and this is our language. It is all body conscious language, just putting the word soul in between. But here you are saying, no, behind this, what Freddy that I see is the invisible actor. And he is not even noticed. He is the most important. He has to be made conscious. And even for few seconds, minutes, experiment. During that time, I am friend of the prince. Ordinarily, in a our even so-called nice relationship, it is all beggar relationship.
Like, how do you feel about the one that is pressing your buttons and creating trouble? If there is the same love for the so-called enemy as the friend, we get to see, how much we prefer one rather than another because they're feeding the beggar. So yeah, it's very, very true, I think. When paying a compliment, can we pay compliments? I guess the question is, and keep the
with caution. We have to give feedback, and that is necessary. But that's what Baba does. But don't be lavish. With caution. But we want to, when we want to remind the soul of his greatness, we want to reach the soul. And with our vision and attitude, we know that greatness of the prince. And to remind the prince that prince is is special. Not Freddy. Freddy is just a part in the drama. Some might ask, who is Freddy?
Yeah, the ways we comment is we kind of get high on that validation. It is also observing for the self, isn't it? But yeah, I think the soul conscious vision attitude is so sustainable, but feedback, but without indulging and checking the intention maybe as well. Always good. So I see we've come to time. If there's anything you'd like to share finally, and then we'll have a drill from Madhavan.
Sure. Let's create one more minute of full light. And in this full light, first thing we know the physical world for what it is. It has got a script. It is foreign world. It is a temporary world. It is not our world. Whole thing. And who is saying this? The invisible prince is saying this. So the invisible prince becomes conscious in this environment of full light. And he knows he's lucky. Prince is conscious. He is aware of his alokik world. That's why he's lucky. We totally understand that everything of ours is invisible, including ourselves. Like others, we don't say that is less important. No, that is the whole thing. That is the most important. Story is not as important.
Thank you. So this will be ongoing reflections, I think, noticing and checking that donor posture, and giving appreciation. Thank you for the translation, and thank you to all for your presence. And we'll create a few minutes for hearing from Bapdada Madhavan. Shanti.
देवता भजन
you.